Hey, it's John Benson. So I'm running a little bit late today. That's cool. I hope you guys are all right with that. Had a little tech glitch, but we're hopefully live and broadcasting on Facebook Live with day 13 of the Persuade. And we're talking about Persuade and Profit live on day 13. We're talking about how to persuade using words and using NLP and how to profit from that. And I hope you guys are getting a lot out of these this 30-day straight that we're doing of Persuade and Profit Live. Today is day 2 of the 3-day cash machine sequence that we're going over word by word in the emails, giving you the exact script to use, also showing you inside Email Copy Pro to show you how Email Copy Pro actually handles all of this, but also going inside Pages and showing you guys how you can do this with nothing more than a Word document. So we want to do everything we can to get you all the help that we can over the next few days, especially because today and tomorrow is day 2 and day 3 of the 3-day cash machine. So remember, if you have, I'm going to remind you this every single day. Please do comment, because we're looking at the comments, and the best comments were real comments we're putting into a randomizer, and then we're picking someone at random. We're going to pick them again on Thursday. That's 2 days from today. And the winner of that gets to come on a group coaching call with me for 90 minutes. And that's a $2,500 bonus just for showing up and making cool comments and spreading the good word around, right? Cool deal. Awesome. So we did not advertise this today. We're testing some different modes of how we're marketing this whole Facebook Live thing, seeing how many people show up versus when we email versus when we don't. I didn't schedule a broadcast versus when we do, just so we can get some metrics today. So in case you're wondering, there's probably fewer people here, but we've been getting hundreds of views on the Facebook Lives after the fact. So hopefully this will continue. Awesome. So I'm going to dive right into the teaching segment here. And by the way, I am John Benson. I am the $1 billion copy coach, because my copy has helped people make $1 billion or more. It's a lot. It's a lot of money. So I'm going to move my mic closer to me so you guys can hear even better, because I forgot to do that. So hopefully that's even better. And let's just dive in here. I'm going to show my screen. Make sure that the sound is on, because from what I could tell last time the sound was off. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. So we're going to show this. I'm going to ask for a test when we go over here to make sure that you guys can see this. Can you see the screen? And I'm going to wait for you. Can you hear what I'm saying? Making sure that you can hear what I'm saying. Someone type, yes, I can hear you. Nope, it's Bogan says, hey, you guys said daylight savings. No, it's 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So here we are, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So first person that says, hey, I can hear you. I'm going to dive in. We're also, it's a good test to see how long the delay is, by the way, because I'm curious, because we haven't got an answer yet. So it's probably like 30 seconds delay. Okay, good. We got your sound. Awesome. Just want to make sure, because I did not want to repeat of what happened a few days ago. Awesome. So I'm going to hide this here. And hopefully you guys should be seeing right now Email Copy Pro. Now, I'm inside Email Copy Pro. In case you didn't see yesterday's broadcast, shame on you. Shame on you for that. But seriously, in case you didn't see it, this is me logging inside Michigan Email Copy Pro. It puts me right here at Mission Control. And to get to the 3-day cash machine, I'm just going to go right. First of all, I have to set up my Epic Email Quick Start. It takes about 60 minutes to set this up at the most. At the most, you might have a few little steps, but it's literally 14 fields. It's not that long. Some people do it in 30 minutes. Some people, they take 90 minutes. But in 90 minutes or less, you can be sending out all of these emails and sequences over here, including the 3-day cash machine, which is really, really cool. So all I would do to get to the 3-day cash machine, I'd hit view all, and I would click the 3-day cash machine and scroll down here and go start project. It's that simple. When I do, boom, this comes up. Okay, so this is coming up, and this is day 2 again. So let's look at what day 2's email is digging on here. So as promised, I'm checking in. That's the subject line. It automatically pulled in. It could have pulled in checking in, knock, knock. So we've tested this, so we know what's good. Now, remember how we ended yesterday's email when I said, hey, I'm going to follow up with you tomorrow. Remember that at the end of yesterday's email? Well, this is doing that. So also puts in all these other different subject lines you can use. We recommend that you stick to the top 3. Okay, now here's the email today. Notice this is ... I'm just checking in, just like I told you I would. Okay, this is nothing more than a humorous intro. Nothing more than that. There's no special NLP here, just a humorous intro. I mean, remember, I got to reemphasize this. These emails all have dynamic blueprints underneath them. Underneath this email, there's a grid. Okay, I'm speaking metaphorically here. There's a grid that is a literal template, a blueprint of what works inside different email structures. And I dissected the hell out of the one yesterday down to the every single paragraph. I don't necessarily want to do that today or have to do that today, unless you guys really want me to. But just now you know what's underneath every email inside Email Copy Pro. And by the way, these two emails are short. Tomorrow's email, the closer, the one that's going to get you the most sales, that one's not short. This stuff will spit out 1,500 word emails. Just so you know, this isn't all just short. This is some really potent stuff. So there's a blueprint behind every single one of these. And I'm wanting to show you a little bit about why they work, just so you can start applying this kind of stuff, wherever you want to, in sales pages and blogs, whatever. But that's what it did. So I'm just checking in, just like I told you I would. Did you do what I suggested? Again, this is all a follow-up, okay? Did you do what I suggested and go here yesterday? So I could bold this, which would be fine. I kind of like that. Go here yesterday. Now, this is called a past tense command. Did you do what I suggested? Did you do this? Now, this echoes it back into what you heard as a kid growing up. Did you clean your room? Okay. You know you did something wrong if you didn't go here. And so believe it or not, so, okay, I'll go do it. It's a little guilt trippy. So this is a little bit of a guilt trip here. But did you do what I told you to do? Did you go yesterday? Okay, again, this is just the URL, pretty simple. The three, and I'm going to explain what each one of these is, how I filled out all these blanks here for this fictional product when I go over to the Pages document here in a moment. All that is just the same exact thing I've had yesterday, and I can change preppers. Again, I can click in Email Copy Pro. I can change this to Patriot Survivalist, maybe if I want to call them Survivalists, I can change that. Now here we get into some of the really groovy stuff. You know, and you will see me do this 1,000 times. You know, what is that? And you're going to get brownie points if you say what that is inside the comments, okay? If you don't know, I use a ton of NLP commands. You know. So now we say that all the time. You know, I went here yesterday. Well, you know, when you do this, we do this all the time. When I'm doing it in print, when I say, you know, it's an automatic attention grabber because it is a command to the brain. And it's telling them to what? It's telling them that they know. So I could say, you know, one of the best discounts you'll ever get is this. And it's almost as if the mind goes, wait, if I don't get that discount, that means I don't know something, and I don't want to not know something. Does that make sense? Now, I'm not saying that all of us, when we want to know everything, but we have that little bit of solipsism in our brains. We really do. We're kind of like the world revolves around us kind of thing. And this is what this plays off of. So, you know, is a very common NLP command. One thing I didn't tell you yesterday. I didn't mention this yesterday. Now just think, I'm not, like I said, I could dissect every single sentence, every single phrase in every single email. You guys might geek out on it. You might not. I'm not going to do that. Don't worry. But I'm showing you how powerful these templates are. These blueprints are really potent. Okay. One thing I didn't tell you yesterday that you might want to know. Okay. So if you're remotely interested, oh yeah, I forgot to mention something. How many times does that snap you into attention when someone goes, oh, listen, I forgot to tell you something. How many times do you go, what? You can like drop whatever you're doing and go, what? Oh, what was it again? Even if you're kind of busy, you're a little distracted. Oh, listen, I forgot to tell you something. That's what that is. And it's NLP embedded inside a little bit of hypnotic suggestion. Didn't tell you this yesterday. I'm about to tell you this today. Deals with public enemy number one when it comes to protecting yourself from a street attacker. This is public enemy number one. A sinister street defense killer. It's bad, okay? Now, notice what this is. This is, again, NLP inside NLP inside NLP. You don't want to have to figure all this out on your own. I'm just giving you the tools that we copywriters use. This is how Email Copy Pro puts things together. You know, one thing I didn't tell you yesterday, this is public enemy number one. Is that bad or good? Public enemy number one, bad or good, right? Bad, so that's called a push. You want to push that away from you. But protecting yourself from a street attacker, protecting yourself is a good. I want to protect myself, so that's a pull. A sinister street defense killer. Ooh, now that is a definite bad, right? That's a definite push. So we have pull, push, pull. We go back and forth because, again, the subconscious mind, we're talking to everyone. We don't know what mood they're in. We don't know who they are. We don't know how they're motivated. So these little sentences do all the tricks for us. They just open the mind up for as many people as possible to be interested in what you're saying. And it's called Kata confusion. Now, I just made this up. There's no such thing called kata confusion. Well, there probably is. In case you don't know, a kata is something that you learn in, like, if you've ever taken Taekwondo or any sort of more traditional martial art, you go through these series of their moves, and they look like dance steps in a sense, but they're ways that you learn certain moves and certain kicks and certain. It's all this kind of. It's like it's very patternized, right? And a lot of guys that deal with street fighting and combat sports, they don't do katas. They're not interested in that. And so I just made this up called kata confusion. So what is this though? This is what we call the primary cause. This is what's causing the problem the customer is experiencing. It's really something called this. Now, you could really drill down here if you want to. You know, you might think that your problem is that you don't know, you're too small, or maybe that you're too chicken to defend yourself, or maybe you've never taken martial arts. But the real problem in street defense is something I call kata confusion. That's your real problem. So this works in any industry, in any niche. You know, when it comes to losing weight, you may think that your real problem is that you just don't have discipline when it comes down to counting calories and watching what you eat, or that you eat too much at night, or that you just never work out. You can never find time for the gym. But the real problem, what's really causing all your weight loss woes, is something I call blank, or something. Remember what we talked about this for days, guys. Experts now refer to as blank. This is called the primary cause. And if you're wondering, primary cause, primary solution, this is all my terminology. If you haven't heard it before, it means you're not an email copy pro user. So this is what we call it in my copy sphere. But this is so important. These two, this and what we did yesterday, which I'll briefly click over here and show you this here. What we did yesterday, the 3-target system, that's the primary solution. That's not the product, that's the primary solution. This is the primary cause. Those two things alone will put you in a different stratosphere when it comes to your marketing. Without addressing kata confusion, protecting yourself from street attacker is basically impossible. Now, if I wanted to reword this and have a different wording in here, I could click here and just add a new entry. So I could just add in, I'll show you just how this works really quick. I could say, so notice it forces me to pick a verb that ends in ing. So how about surviving? Surviving, it's not in there. Surviving. Now, I could use a pronoun, surviving your, I can even say, so your next street attack. Okay, that's kind of silly, but I'm going to keep it just because I'm just showing you. So I can check my examples. I love it when you're surviving your next street attack. If you enjoy surviving your next street attack, I mean, this is obviously silly sentences, but they're meant to be silly and fun. So yeah, that actually does work. So that's kind of cool. So I actually cleared this out, so I'm going to click check, and boom. It's basically impossible. It's basically impossible to do. So that's what's really cool. So what have I done here? I built a premise. All this is a premise. I didn't tell you this. It's your number one problem. Without it, success is impossible. This is just a syllogism. It's just a syllogistic way of saying, here's your argument. Here's the problem. Without this, this is impossible. So that's the blueprint underneath that. Discover more here, NLP command, right to the same thing. Now it's a slightly different wording in the CDA, how kata confusion derails your success. Do you notice what we're doing here? Now, for the astute listeners, my students that are the astute listeners, you should be going, okay, now I realize this is kind of black belt stuff, man. No pun intended in this case. This is black belt level stuff, but this is black belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu persuasion shit going on here. Because remember, let's go back to the very first thing that whole thing started off with, which is the push-pull. It's called duality in persuasion. If I say, listen, I've got good news and bad news. That's the ultimate, that's the oldest duality there is, right? Which one do you want to hear first? That's presupposition. How we speak is so much of how we actually speak is actually presupposition in NLP. It really is. So we just don't know it. So I'm just breaking it out for you can see it. See how something really good is helping you do something really positive. Yay, that's a pull. I want to pull that to me. The next CTA, how something bad derails your success. Do you see what I'm doing? Good, bad, push, pull. Isn't that cool? I did it even in the CTAs. Well, here's what's interesting is I actually didn't do this. I just clicked a button and had the machine do this. Getting one, and this is so powerful. Now, all I had to do is fill in the blanks. The machine did all the hard work. My signature, And then I put a PS. Tomorrow's the last day. Last day, I'll have everything on the page above live. So you need to hop over now. Okay, the last day. So you need to hop over now in with an NLP command. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, this is nothing more than scarcity NLP command. Nothing too difficult here. But notice what I do here. It's the last day. I'll have everything on the page above live. That wording is very important. It's the last thing I'll have everything live. All you have to do to fulfill that promise is take anything off that page. Okay, this is, some people may consider this great, but I believe in being completely honest in my words, and that's no true. That's not like I'll take a bonus off that page. That bonus is gone, so I can keep this offer up forever. Notice I didn't say tomorrow's the last day that you can get this at a discount. Now, if I had it on sale, that's exactly what I would say. In fact, we have a sale version of this 3-day cash machine, which you can simply change it. Tomorrow's the last day this is on sale. The last day you can get it at the discount above. But since I'm wanting to be ethical and not wanting to use what's called false scarcity, which is saying something that's not true just to get people to act on it, then this is a way to do it. Another way that I do this all the time, in fact, I taught this when I created video sales letters. It's one of the most famous lines in the scarcity copy is, I don't know how much longer this video is going to be online. So you need to go watch this right now. Well, that's a true statement. I don't know how much longer that video is going to be. I have no idea how much longer this video is going to be online. It could come down any day. That's true as well. So, those are fun ways of being driving home scarcity without being complete bullshit where people say, listen, I'm only going to keep this video up for 24 hours. And after that, the feds are taking it down, man. I'm being chased down by the government. I've seen that kind of crap in VSLs and it works. It unfortunately works. But these are just clever ways to do it without doing that. So all you have to do is take one thing off that page live and you're done. So that's the safest scarcity line ever. I'm glad that we included it in this one. And just like yesterday, in case you didn't see this yesterday, if whatever reason, I said, you know what, I just want to get a different version of this. Same dynamic blueprint, but I can reword the whole thing if I just click, it's all written. The whole thing just rewrote itself. The whole thing just rewrote itself. It just kept all the blueprints in place. You could send this exact email out again, 2 weeks later, same promotion. No one's going to notice that it's the same blueprint, but your mind will notice it. Again, I can keep doing it. I can keep regenerating. I can do this as many times as I want to do it. So I think you get the idea. So it's pretty cool. So unless this is how this rewrote this here today, unless you have a solid answer to call it, I'm afraid you'll keep struggling to finish yourself a tag around the street. Again, now if I could also click this and notice how when I changed this primary goal, I only changed the present tense one. This is the future tense one. So I could get a new future tense primary goal if I wanted to. So that's how email copy proof works. Now let's dive over into the actual pages document so I can show you what's going on. As promised, I'm checking in the subject line, right? So I'm going to fill this out for widgets. Did you go here yesterday? I forget what we called it, URL. We'll just leave it URL. So whatever your URL, it's hard to say, that's what you're going to do. So here, see our primary solution. And what's our primary solution for the widgets? It was called Widgetology. I think that's how we spelled it. So widgets, in case you don't remember from yesterday or don't know, they're just fictional products that we're just using this as an example. It's helping, who's my avatar? Widget. How about widget lovers? I had widget makers. Now, if this was Email Copy Pro, you'd be building a database of all this stuff and it'd pull it in randomly. And now you'd have widget lovers in your next email and widget makers in another one, and et cetera, et cetera. Or even in the same email, have 2 or 3 different ways of saying the same thing. So, one thing I didn't tell you yesterday deals with public enemy number 1 when it comes to primary goal. Let's say, money selling widgets. Very simple. A sinister widget killer called, and now we're going to make up a primary cause. What's the primary cause for this? Let's call it, let me see. Okay, this is a stupid name, the widget curse, okay? But just to get the point across that your primary cause is not the name of your product, it's obviously not. But you could literally make up almost anything as long as it fits. The widget curse, okay, that's it's not that stupid, I guess. It's okay. It's okay. But I'm doing this live. I'm not doing this with any sort of prep, okay? Without addressing the widget curse, something's going to happen. Something's not going to happen, rather. Notice I'm using title case here. uppercase, lowercase, because you want it to sound really fancy. You know, you want it to sound like this is something that, oh, I should know about this. Okay. So here's what you don't want to write here. I'm going to copy this. And here's what you don't want to write. Something called bad widget production scheduling. Okay. That sucks. And that's not a primary cause. That's just something that might happen. A primary cause is a name, a title, something that looks efficient, or something that looks official rather, and efficient, I guess, verbally. But you can just, this is the only thing you got to think of in this particular email. You got to think of a primary cause, and then you can use this. You did the primary solution yesterday. Okay. I think we called it widgetology. I forgot what it was called, but so the widget curse. Now, primary goal, without addressing widget curse, I could do the same primary goal, making money selling widgets, or I can say cashing in on more widget sales. Now, notice what I'm having to do here. Notice that these verbs end in ing. Now, I know that to start with a verb. I suggest you start with a verb too. Email Copy Pro makes you start with a verb. And the reason we start with verbs is, well, there's a lot of persuasion reasons behind that, but that keeps your sentence structures in check. Okay? Discover more here. How the widget curse derails your success. You get the widget curse derails your success. I can say derails your widgets making success or whatever. My name here. Obviously, tomorrow's the last day. So that's all there was to that. Very simple, not too difficult to do. And now we're going to go back to the live camera. I'm not going to save this because I'm keeping these blanks so that we can give you these blank pages. Whoops, you know what? I think Pages automatically saves it. So, okay. Okay, that's okay. I'll have to go back in and change it. No big deal. All right, cool, guys. I'm coming back over here to the live show. Pull my monitor back over here, and hopefully this will work. All right, cool. I'm back. Now, in case you don't know, this is where you want to go to get Email Copy Pro. Watch my workshop on dynamic blueprints, even more detail. Well, we're going into really minute detail, minutia. The minutia here, minutia detail. We're doing a lot of minutia stuff here. So it's not going to be this detailed, but it's going to get much more broad. It's going to give you a much more broad look at how it works, and also much longer demos and things like that. So I think you should go check that out if you haven't seen it already. All right, we're going to take some questions here. We're going to go lots of comments here. So we're going to Terry saying, I was just thinking about how black belt it is, and I'm wondering, could copywriters do that? You know, here's the thing: is a lot of copywriters do this kind of on autopilot. They do it, you know, they just know how to. They've studied so many sales letters. No one I know does it to this level. No one I know. I'm not saying that I'm the best copywriter on the planet. I'm just saying that no one I know really falls in love with sentence structure and blueprints, and no one I know teaches it at this level for sure. Right? But you know, having the book-ended, you know, I do stuff nested within stuff, and that actually comes from my background as a musician and my background as I started coding and computer stuff, and so you have all these, you know, nested ifs and stuff like that, and also logic training. So it's just kind of cool to break it out and to do stuff like that. So that's what I'm thinking. UIBs, yes sir. I say. You like me, love this stuff. Yes, exactly. Best for limited time discounts. Yeah, for sure. This would really kick ass on a limited time discount for sure. But I'm giving you the lowest level, the lowest hanging fruit guys were yesterday. Those were the need guys. Now I tapped into the want guys. I made them want something because I didn't really cover this clearly, but I'm covering it now. Because you want to know the #1 cause of your problem. So once somebody says, you know, I think I want to do that, and somebody says, but I haven't figured out how I did it, I'm not comfortable doing it. And someone said, well, you know why? You don't know about this whole kind of confusion thing, or you don't know about this whole, you know, widget curse thing. So that's the whole idea. So you can turn a want into a need. Oh, I got to have that. I got to know about that. Well, now you're in need mode. Now, if you're over in desire mode and they're going, I'm thinking about this occasionally. Tomorrow we move those desire guys right out of desire and into need with the last chance. Okay, yeah, maybe I want that. Okay, so we're just drifting those guys in. So we get needs, wants, desires, and through the whole thing, Fear is the foundation. You hear fear in everything I'm doing. Now, I'm not saying that, obviously that email wasn't total fear mongering. I hate fear mongering as just in, when people are just the whole thing's fear. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about talking to that amygdala, talking to that lizard brain of yours and mine and everyone else's that responds so well to you need this or something bad is going to happen. If you don't communicate that, you're not going to be an effective persuader. You're just not. So you're going to lead people off, and that's not what you want to do. You want to pull as many people into your fold as you can when you have a great product or great message. Okay. We got some inclusion, NLP command. We got some answers here going through here. So even more if we take into account in the sales page, this is true. Okay, this interesting question from Francis. What are your thoughts about using images in the email? Yeah, I used to be against it completely, and now it's actually a great pattern interrupt. So if I used an image that was specific to that email, like if it was a before and after picture in a weight loss email, those work really well. I don't like the pictures that are hokey. I don't like pictures that are, those posters you see that are, the success posters, and you got the hokey image of something like a magnet attracting something. I don't like those kind of things, but that's just me. So, but you also want to make sure that you can that space is that your size is way down. Okay, so Helene or Helen, I'm sorry, you'll have to correct me on the pronunciation of that. So would you keep the same primary cause and solution for the entire? Oh, absolutely. There's only one primary cause and only one primary solution. So that is, we used to limit in Email Copy Pro. We used to limit the ability to even create more than one. In fact, we're going to go back to that because I'm so adamant about having one primary cause and one primary, because you don't want to have, because this sentence makes no sense. The only thing you need to know is X, and then the only thing you need to know is Y. That doesn't make any sense, right? Those are the kind of sentences that we'll use around your primary solution. The only thing that you need to know is, the three-touch system. I created this, like, literally, it's not real. The product I'm showing you isn't real, but you get the idea. The three-strike system. That's all you need to know. That's the answer to everything. You can only get it inside Street Defense Made Simple. Okay, cool, awesome. So you guys, hopefully you got a lot out of this, and hope you're enjoying the training. Tomorrow you got to come back. Tomorrow might be a little longer. We might go 40 minutes because the email is simply longer, because we're going to go through a lot of like badass closing stuff and getting people to take action, and where to highlight things in blue and all kinds of kind of crazy stuff. So tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That is correct today. I think I got it right today. And I will see you then. Thanks a lot for joining me.